Spirituality and business may seem like totally different realms, but as a spiritual entrepreneur, you know they go hand in hand. Here are the best spiritual tools for making business decisions. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine having a business without having my spiritual practices and my spiritual connection. I still remember when I was 5 years old, I was going through a really kind of a tough time. My parents were going through a tough time, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and I'll never forget this because there was an angel, and some people still to this day probably don't believe me, but there was an angel standing right next to me. And at first it startled me, right? I mean, you see, you're in the middle of the night, you're 5, you're scared. And I looked up, and then it was like this feeling of peace just washed over me. And I knew that this angel was here to look over me, and you could call it a guardian angel, or just a spirit that was there. But I could feel her presence, and I can feel that she was there to make sure that I felt safe in that moment. And to this day, my mom still remembers the next morning when I told her about this angel that had shown up in the middle of the night. And she believed me. And thank goodness my mom's an amazing soul, and she held that space with me, and she believed me, and I can still see that angel, in the corner of my eye. And I share this with you because we are surrounded by a world that we cannot see, that we don't understand. And what I know is that when I lean into my higher power, when I lean into the angels that I know that surround me and the connection that I have, everything else goes better in my life, right? And it helps me remember that I'm not here for me. Yeah, I'm here on the planet, I'm here for me, but I'm here for a bigger purpose. I'm here to serve entrepreneurs, business owners like you who sometimes get stuck on the journey and who want to make sure, who want to know that there's something more, that it's okay to lean into their spiritual practice. So if that's you, you've come to the right place because this is something that I practice on a regular basis. And these are conversations that I have with our clients these are conversations that I continually have with our clients because they want to talk about their spirituality and why it's important to them. So if this is something that you want to develop, or maybe you have it, you want to develop it even more, I highly recommend having a spiritual mentor. Having someone that shares your values and your beliefs about spirituality, who you feel connected with, that you can be vulnerable with, that will support you. And someone else, someone who can guide you along the way. And, for some of you that might be a pastor, it could be a priest, it could be a friend, it could be a coach, it could be anyone, but someone who is more advanced in their spiritual journey that just really wants to support you. Second, having a morning practice or having a spiritual practice that you can lean into every day can be really helpful. Some of our clients practice meditation every day. Some of our clients practice prayer. Some of our clients read, books that feed them spiritually. So whatever it is for you, finding that practice that you can lean into every day is really powerful. I'll tell you, I'm not a good meditator. In fact, I have a really hard time just sitting and, listening to something. My brain is very active, but I am a walking meditator. So for me, walking has a very meditative feel, and I love listening to podcasts or listening to other spiritual information when I'm walking. There's something about walking for me that just helps ground the information and helps me feel grounded, helps me feel connected. So if you're not a meditator, I feel you. There's lots of ways that you can meditate though. And it's interesting, I see, when you have children, it's like you learn so much about yourself. And I always thought it was weird that I couldn't sit still, or that I had a hard time sitting and meditating, or that my brain was super active, until I met my son, my child, who also is very active, right? And now I appreciate that active energy that he brings to everything. And it's reminded me that it's okay to bring my active energy. It's okay to it's okay to meditate while walking. It's okay to be active while you're talking to your clients, right? Like you have to find those practices that feel most natural to you and are aligned with who you are and how you show up in the world. Third, connect to your higher power, whatever your belief system is. And this, whatever your religion, whatever your belief system is, connecting to a higher power, something that is bigger than us is so important. And I think it's more important than ever as we've made our way through a pandemic, we've made our way through very challenging times in the world. And I think we've all been faced with and reminded of, life is short. Life is short. And life can be really hard sometimes, and so can being in business. And having a higher power to lean into is, one of the most powerful gifts that you can give yourself. And because here's the truth, being a business owner, it's one of the loneliest journeys you can ever be on, right? Are you with me? Yeah. And I remember when I started my own business, I had run someone else's business, and then I started my own business, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, who am I going to connect with? Like, who is on my team? In the beginning, you don't have a team. There's no one there. So it's just super lonely. And so I went out and I started networking and I started meeting other business owners, because the truth is only other business owners totally understand what you're going through, totally understand your trials, your tribulations, your celebrations, because it is unlike anything else. And I was at an event recently, and it was an event where other parents were there. We were there for our son, and I was talking to this parent, and this parent and I were just chatting a little bit about a business idea that they have. And I could tell their excitement about the business idea. I could tell that they would already had some struggles about figuring out how to bring it to market. Like, a lot had already happened, but the business hadn't launched. And this person was really asking me, like, what's it like to be in business? Like, do you think this is possible? Like, what would I say to a client, And we were at an event, it was a holiday event, so it was a very joyful occasion. And there was a part of me that I just thought, I don't want to ruin this event for this person, right? This person wasn't ready to hear the truth. When you're starting your business, you're just so excited and you're so into it and you're so motivated. And then you run into so many walls and so many trials and so many tribulations that make you want to quit. And I didn't want to tell this person that the idea wasn't viable, because I have no idea. I don't know their industry. And I also didn't want to burst their bubble of excitement. And it was this question of, what do you think? And luckily someone interrupted us in that moment. I think a child walked over, someone interrupted us, so we couldn't continue that conversation. But my heart was with this person, because I thought, you have no idea the journey that your business is going to take you on. And it's really a spiritual journey. I've grown more spiritually having a business than any other time in my life, because a business journey is so much about faith and not quitting and leaning into the unseen and believing in things that you cannot see yet, right? That is the business journey. And so I just want to congratulate you, because if you're watching this, right, you're probably in business. You've probably been in business for a long time, perhaps, or maybe it's new, but you're still in business. And that's what we say to all of our clients. We tell them, like, pat yourself on the back if you made it through COVID, like if your business survived that time, because not every business did, as we know. But you did it, and there's something in you, there's some resilience in you that you can continue to lean into on your journey. And again, this is where that spiritual practice comes in, having it so that you don't quit, you don't stop. I highly recommend also checking your gratitude barometer. And gratitude, over the years, what are you grateful for? We've heard people say you should have a gratitude journal, you should be making lists about what you're grateful for. And while, I think we can feel like we've heard it enough, I do still think it's one of the most powerful things you can do to shift how you're feeling, to shift the energy, and to shift back into being motivated and excited about your business. Because some days it doesn't feel like there's anything to be grateful for, when in fact there are so many things. Like the fact that you're still in business, the fact that you have clients or customers who appreciate your product or service, their success stories, right? Gratitude for what your business has given you, gratitude for how your business has forced you to grow. Like, there's so many things to be grateful for. So when you're feeling off, like, think about all the things that you have to be grateful for related to your business. And I'm pretty sure you're going to feel better, and you're going to start moving toward where you want to be. And finally, be a conscious consumer. Be very conscious of what you're listening to, what you're reading, and ask yourself, is this in alignment with my values and who I want to be in business? And if it's not, turn it off. I'm very careful about what I look at on the internet. I have to be super careful, because it'll take me off It'll take me off my journey. I have to be careful about who I talk to, right? At times, like what ideas I'm letting in. I have to be careful of what kind of podcasts I'm listening to. Even if there's a podcast that I've been following for a while, if there's a certain topic that I know is going to trigger me or just pull my energy or like kind of give me a little bit of a spiral, I'm not going to listen to it. Or a book. Like if I start reading a book and it just feels off, I'm not going to finish it. So be super conscious of what you're consuming because it is going to pull you in a different direction. It's going to pull your attention. It's going to pull your energy. And when you can stay right here in the energy of gratitude, it's going to be a lot easier to grow your business. Today we talked about spirituality and business. And while that seems like two different things, when you can bring them together, it's so much easier to grow a successful business and to remember that you're not alone. Find a spiritual mentor. Find a morning routine that works for you, whether it's prayer, meditation, exercise, all of it. Remember to stay connected to your higher power. Check your gratitude barometer when you feel off, and be conscious of what you consume on a regular basis. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this video, stick with me because up next, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes spiritual entrepreneurs are making and how to shift them. And remember, your 2X is waiting for you too.